Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first part of the Yelawolf Ghetto Cowboy review. It's the Headspace podcast. This the show where we break down the new hip hop albums track by track, giving thoughts and opinions on every single song. My name is Holden Stephan Roy, and today I will be running through Yelawolf's Ghetto Cowboy album. It is currently 11 p.m. at night. The album has been around for a couple of hours because thankfully Yelawolf released the thing on YouTube at the United Kingdom's midnight. So kudos Yella for releasing Ghetto Cowboy early enough for me to get through the first half of the album track by track, running through it. So keep in mind a couple things for this little review here. It's later than I should be doing a review, so hopefully my neighbors don't call cops or anything like that. I haven't slept on a project or anything. It's like literally not out on Spotify as I'm recording this review for me up in Montreal. So part 2 will be tomorrow. I'm going to record it after I go to bed and whatnot, and that'll be the second half. I'm also going to sleep on the album, and in part 2 I'll let you know if like any thoughts changed on the first half of this review. Also, if I'm a little bit quieter, it is because of the hour. I'm trying to be closer to the mic and hoping that after all said and done, this Yelawolf Ghetto Cowboy review has a good audio quality. It might not, but alas, the room will be improved in the next 6 months or so. Anyway, with all that said, you can check the description of the video to skip ahead to when we'll start talking about each and every song. On that note, though, I do recognize I'm not a professional in this. It's just the format. We started running through it, doing these album reviews, trying to appreciate the art of the album. And that led us to this moment where Yelawolf dropped this album on Halloween of 2019, the day Montreal tried to move Halloween to another date. Anyway, it's like a crazy rainstorm with like big winds up today, but the winds will be more vicious tomorrow, but there won't be rain. I'm not sure which is worse for trick-or-treaters, but in case you didn't catch this little tidbit in my little mini pre-review I did, so I put like a 14-minute video out. It's like a quick summary of my first thoughts on the album, a new format. You can check that out. I'll link that in the description of this video if you do want to check it out. But on that note, I do care a lot about what y'all think, and I look forward to hearing what you think about anything, but especially if you think because of bad weather Halloween should be moved to November 1st. I'm just really curious about that topic because it's super relevant to my life. Also, I know I don't have a costume. I failed. I'm sorry. I haven't even really left the apartment today. The beauty of being off of work. Anyway, before we jump into it, I care a lot about your comments, and I look forward to hearing anything you want to say to me. So if you make that effort to comment, I'll make that effort to answer your comment. And as an example of that, I went back to the Yelawolf Trial by Fire review that we did a couple years back. I think it dropped about 2 years ago to this day almost. And Florian J said about 7 months ago, bit late with this comment, but here we go. About the writers credited, Yelawolf was the producer and basically leads the music and probably arranges it. The other people credited as writers composed the music with Yelawolf. It's like a movie. The director decides how the movie should be shot, but not necessarily the only scriptwriter. And I thought that was a cool comment because since that review's come out, I've actually learned a lot about writing credits and how it's all supposed to be attributed and paid out, and that's actually a great way of putting it. So if you're the main artist who makes the top level decisions, you're like the executive producer. That's like the shot caller. Then you got like the production side, whoever makes the beats or whatever. But then if you're working with instruments, there's a writing credit given to each individual person who does its individual compositions. But at the same time, if Yelawolf's like bringing this vision to life and then person does his thing, they're both technically writers of that part based on the law. Anyway, I don't want to go too much into copyright law. That's not why you're here. But yeah. Special thanks to the patrons before we begin. Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black, Hurricane, Linda Williams, and Coney Sparks. Touch on that at the end, but shut them out while you're still watching. On that note, we're going to get into this Yelawolf Ghetto Cowboy review, and I like to start off all the reviews contextualizing my familiarity with each artist to kind of manage expectations going into the album. What I mean is, in a lot of cases, we've come to realize, I guess you could say, across the times of reviewing these albums, that depending on how long you've listened to an album or how familiar you are with an artist, their history, their story, like if you've been listening to this person for 15, 20 years versus if it's like the first time you've ever discovered this artist, all of these different variables basically impact your experience with a given project. So in all fairness, most people coming to this review don't know me, don't know my familiarity with Yelawolf, so I think it's cool for me to introduce where I'm at with him, my expectations a little bit for the project going into it, so that you can get that same sense from me, and then you can understand where I'm at with it. Now, while in most cases on this channel we review stuff that I've like literally never heard of, Yelawolf is absolutely the opposite of that. I make music myself. This isn't really meant to shamelessly plug or anything like that, although it kind of is. It's more to promote the idea that my main influence as far as flow and tonality and like the person that I believe inspires me the most as far as like musicality and everything is Yelawolf. Like if somebody were to say top influence, it's absolutely Yelawolf. I think he's absolutely brilliant. Now, I don't necessarily think every song on every album is next level, whatever, but there's something about his flow, the way he just spits verses, the energy he brings to tracks, his cadence, his wordplay that has just always enthralled me and got me hooked. His storytelling, the way he paints pictures, it's just amazing to me, to a point where I'm comfortable saying today that my favorite album of 2017 is still Trial by Fire by Yelawolf. I think it's one of the most incredible projects I heard. Like it blew my mind. Like it like set a standard in a sense for modern albums for what I realized music like it could be. Like it brought shit back to the art of a diverse experience, multiple styles and flows, and to me it was just amazing and incredible. And if we go back in his catalog, I'm a lot more pick and choose. I do really like the Trunk Music tapes. I don't know if I've really listened to everything he's done, but like when I heard the project with Ed Sheeran, it was pretty dope. The stuff he's done with Travis Barker absolutely is just incredible to me. Anytime you see Tech Nine and Yelawolf on a track, you know it's going to be a good time. And it's like he's just one of those names where maybe it's just the Alabama flow or something to it, but there's almost never a time that Yelawolf shows up where like I feel bad. You know, like it's just always exciting. Like even the Shady X5 cipher, right? My favorite part was Yelawolf's like poetry bit that he breaks down in front of his house and shit. It was just like my favorite part of that whole cipher. So all I have to say, there's something about the way he blends everything together, the uniques. I don't know if it's like 100% unique, but his twist on rock hip hop fusion, the singing, the rapping, all of it together just gets me stoked like every single time. So I mean, Trunk Music 3 though, it was a great project, don't get me wrong. I very much enjoyed it. It was a different kind of project than Trial by Fire. Trial by Fire is what I'm going to call like a story project. Blew my mind. Next level. Loved it. Now, Trunk Music 3 to me is more of a vibe album. You put that on, you hit play, you vibe out. Yelawolf does not disappoint. You're maybe not meant to think as hard. You're meant to vibe out a little harder, because there's quite a few tracks on Trial by Fire that might not be like vibeable to the sense where they're more like deep pensives, like you get into them. Trunk Music was the opposite kind of album. And I think it's cool that when we come up to this particular project, The Ghetto Cowboy, a little bit of a spoiler, is I think we're moving back more to that deeper, pensive thing, but there's still a vibe element to it, don't get me wrong, but I think we're moving closer the needle towards the direction of a trial by fire on this project. Anyway, it's called Ghetto Cowboy. I think that's a cool title because it kind of symbolizes in a lot of ways him. He's the ghetto cowboy. He's a cowboy and he's ghetto. He's got that hip hop, he's got that southern in him, and he kind of blends that together and it creates like the semblance of who he is. So what I take from that title is that this project's going to be kind of personal, and we're going to get like a story in a sense of who Yelawolf is, or some kind of depth into his personality or something to that effect. And I love the cover because it's just like a back shot of him on a motorcycle. The motorcycle says Slum on it. You can see like a shed on the side of it, like he's just in the middle of some bayou swampland or some country or something like that. And it's just like it screams out Yelawolf, and it fits the current trend of not having a lot of text on your titles or anything like that, just kind of letting the image communicate it. Like I could see how it works real well as a poster or something like that. Like it's really marketable. It's subtle. It's not in your face. It's got a cool lighting effect. It just makes everything in the background kind of blend together. And I think it really encaptures the spirit of his ghetto cowboyness in the image. And I thought it was cool. Anyway, y'all are actually here for the album review. I don't know how long I've been talking. That's okay. The first track's a skit. It's the Mama Wolf skit. So for real, this is a very intense experience, in my opinion, to start off this project. It is Yelawolf's mother who is speaking here in this tape. At least I'm gonna assume. I'm not like a gajillion% sure. And she's talking over this like in dark kind of doo 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 kind of music, gloomy, like almost stormy feel to it, like some serious ish is about to go down. And then you listen to what she's saying, and like her narrative is freaking intense. So it's like, if I come to where you at, this is it. There's no stopping me. You will not get in my way. No one will get in my way. I just took our friend and I ran him into it and wrapped his hair around my wrist 3 times, and I started wailing on him. I'm like, what is she saying? She's basically describing this freaking beatdown, and our friend has a gun, but it's clearly like a beatdown of a particular person who has caused her harm or caused her like some kind of trauma, is what I'm getting, because in the following line he goes, "Oh, Miss Sheila, don't do this, Miss Sheila. I respect you, Miss Sheila. You fucking cunt. God's watching you." Like this thematic switch in the stuff he's saying. It's like, imagine you're beating somebody down, and this is the kind of shit they're saying back at you. Don't do it, don't do it. And then like a fucking switch, like a demon possesses the person. I thought that was pretty powerful. And her friend had a gun on her, and she like pulls it out, and she's like, shoot him in the leg, don't let him get away. The guy's like, don't shoot me. And then she just kept beating him down. Then the cops come and arrest her, and she's just like, I didn't care. I'm smiling ear to ear in my mug shot, and you know, I didn't call for this bullshit. I can handle myself. I didn't even need a weapon. And she just basically describes this savage beatdown. But if like she could do it again, and then it implies like a pop, you hear this gunshot, and Yelawolf just yells out, "Ghetto Cowboy." Like, this is the introduction. This is my mother. This is where I'm coming from. Now, if we just contrast the Trial by Fire, where it's like he comes into this country bar and he just kind of like, oh, Yelawolf and his boys was here, and then they start like, you know, playing a little tune to like start off the album. Now, this is like Mama Wolf creating some almost horror experience. I'm like letting you know that that's the kind of place he comes from. That's what his mom is like. His mom is savage, like some, I just picture, not to be like like I don't know if it's racist or whatever, but like a redneck trailer park beat you down woman that you would picture in one of those TV shows where they showed redneck women like that. Savagery going on. Either way, I really like this introduction. I think it sets quite a tone for the album in a positive way. I think it brings you out of your world, and in the minute and a half that this introduction is, it just captivates you, and it's something really like enthralling. So I gave it a 4.5 on 5. I think it's one of the more memorable introductions that we've come across this year. And in general, I think it's a great way to start an album. It does its job of getting you out of your world, bringing you into the world of the album, and doing it using like what sounds like his mom telling a story of a savage beatdown. I mean, if Mama Wolf's crazy, then you know that Yelawolf's an unnatural born killer. I mean, this starts off, and I believe it's produced by Brian Jones, the producer, who I'm not sure I've ever heard of in terms of production credits, but allow me to be abundantly clear. This is a particularly great beat. It's got this weird sound to it. It's got this, like, it catches you off guard. I believe it's synth driven, but it's got this, like, kind of bop to it where you're just, it doesn't really sound like any lane I can think of right now. It just kind of pops in, but it also just totally makes sense for Yelawolf. Like, it feels like a Yelawolf beat. And it doesn't feel like it's an anyone else beat to me. So all things considered, I was like, that's really cool. And then the way he just starts spitting. Now, this had come out. I've heard this before the album dropped. I was actually stoked because this single, along with the other one, Opie Taylor, really got me hyped up. It's almost just felt like, yo, Yella's back in like the best possible way. Like when an artist drops a track and you're hoping it's going to be dope, and then it just is. And you're like, oh, that's kind of what I come to expect from Yelawolf at this point. But lyrically, it feels like he's creating an ambiance following up what his mother had just put forth, you know? So I'm pulling that chopper out that driveway, the tires leaving prints, my denim is blood-stained steel. Last night was a close-range hit. Bar room is empty in smoke, billowing from the chimney tip, back wall to the concrete drips, creek water in the plastic gets sipped. So you just have this, like, you know, picture where I guess Chopper, I don't know, I guess that's a motorcycle, but it could also be a gun. I'm not sure. I think in this context, it's like him coming out on the motorcycle, you know, but maybe it is with the gun because his denim's all blood stained. Last night, some close range situation. Maybe it was a bar fight. Maybe it was like everybody lit up off the whiskey, but it just kind of paints this picture. Creekwater is actually his whiskey brand, so he's kind of, you know, pimping out his own shit in the middle of his bar. So people kind of getting, you know, you just picture having some whiskey in the flask in like the situation, and it goes down. Okay, these bitches acting rude, bandanas tied on my head, got a knot in that back set, hanging on my side, you see red. Opiate trailer is trashy, and I like that line because it plays like it's Opie, but I believe he's saying Opiate Taylor, and it kind of sounds like trailer. So it's almost like on the one hand he got the red Opie Taylor hair being so trashly, but on the other hand how like the trailer park and the whole like vibe of where he come from being so trashy. It's the American born to be trashy. They took my ass to the city, I just don't know how to act classy. And I like that line because I kind of relate a little bit to that experience. I like to bring this up when I can. I come from like the welfare kind of life once upon a time, and now I'm in the middle class kind of life. And while I was in the city, and I'm not really a country boy by any means, there's a huge class differential between the way you're supposed to act when you're poor and the way you're supposed to act when you're middle class, is what I come to learn. And so I kind of get where he's coming from when he goes to the city. You don't know how to act classy when you're around those kinds of environments, and you just listen to him and you know he's just got that like unapologetically southern attitude that he comes from. Black feather hanging out the hat, just so the punks see me coming, and then from a tribe called broke, so I'm not breaking or running. And I like that because it's, you know, kind of playing up on a Tribe Called Quest there. And because he's from this blind to being broke also, he's not really worried about your shit. He's just going to keep pushing. So fuck all that racism, bitch, and fuck who you roll with. I'm a white boy from the South, and I'm on some new South shit. And I kind of really like this whole verse. I know I ran through the whole thing, but I feel like it just is this unapologetically powerful statement of who he is. He's from this grimy southern situation. I feel like the flow he hits is technical in a way where his pauses and his use of timing really just bounces off the beat magically in a really powerful thing up until you get to that chorus where it just blasts out with it's unnatural, I'm unnatural, a natural born killer, and he just kind of repeats it a lot and slams over the beat as it gets bigger, and it just feels right. It just feels proper. Like you can tell that Yelawolf appreciates the detailed composition of like timing and songwriting and how to just like go from it being a series of ideas and a series of verses into being like a complete sonic experience. A second verse follows on in a similar kind of tone setting way. Like the cigarette is burning, inhaling secondhand smoke. The paper walls of the tailor, diapilated and broke. There's dicky suits in my closet, back to the same old shit. I'm either flipping that way or your boy is hitting a lick. And he just kind of continues to paint out this whole situation about where his life is, where he's come from. I'm kind of pointing out, I'm about to take the great white, go make soup with its fin. I ain't got time, bitch. I'm tied up to no loose ends. To take the fake motherfuckers around me, I need no new friends. That's unnatural. So I feel like in this verse, and I know I skipped out the middle part, we're looking at him kind of like time's going on, and he's got this dedication and this fire inside of him, and he's kind of looking at his life from the slummy situations, and maybe he's doing some illicit activities, and it's just this repetitious cycle. But when you get to that part about the great white, you get the great white shark is kind of like that Moby Dick. It's like you have that big vision of that big thing you want to go capture and you want to go get, and it's like, I believe in this case it's the rap career. It's about getting this thing for his life, this better universe for himself. So when he's going on his journey, it's like he doesn't need new friends. Fuck that shit. It's unnatural. He's coming in. He's got his, I guess, his squad. He's almost implies a lot like he's a solo rider able to just kind of take care of his own. Either way, the way he rides this beat, the way he flips the tone, the way he just sounds like he's unapologetically him. There's like this swagger in the delivery where I think he just connects it all. I think the beat is flawless. I think the production is excellent. And to me, this is absolutely a 5 on 5. I really like it, but keep in mind as you go through this, I'm extremely biased towards loving Yelawolf's general sound. On that note, let's talk about a character from the Andy Griffith Show, Opie Taylor. So what I like about this project is it kind of has this like looking back feel on it so far. Like the first track has like the mama talking. The second track kind of has him spitting, almost like projecting who he was and who he is, but like from a perspective of his roots. And in this song, I think we're doing a very similar thing. But first of all, can we talk about the hook that is that whistle bit in the beat, that do 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 do, like that melody, the way that it just hits in. Oh man, it's been stuck in my head since I first heard the track a couple of weeks ago. It just is nice. Like this is the first track I heard, but what DJ Clever did on that beat, and it's weird. DJ Clever made the beat for this one, but was in the music video for the other song, and I don't really know how that happened. Either way. So he creates this insane beat, and then Yelawolf comes in with like that singy rap flow, and I think like this is it. This is one of my favorite Yelawolf experiences, where he has that like, well, mama sent me down there to Mapco, BC, Patterson, a bag of tobacco, and he kind of just rolls through with that melody pretty much the whole way through the song, but he changes up the timing in like every line to make sure that while the melody kind of stays consistent and he's always hitting it where he's supposed to be, he changes the timing so that like the rhythm, if you were to like break it into how many syllables match the melody each time, is kind of something a little bit different. And I thought that was always fun, and it's one of my favorite part of Yelawolf's flows, is how he just kind of can just be so diverse with it. And then I learned that Mapco is like a dépanneur. A dépanneur is what us Quebecers call a convenience store. It's not natural for me to say convenience store, so I go at dépanneur. Anyway, and then it seems like his mom sent him to the store to get some shit, and her boss is an asshole. And she's just spit on breaking her back, and he just needs a rope with a lasso to catch a pot of gold and get past the hassle to get his mom a castle, a pink Cadillac with the matching tassels. And you just feel like this poor environment where his mom is working so hard to just make sure everything gets put together, and he just has this strong desire to like make it so that he can do something amazing for her, like get her this amazing pink Cadillac, you know, take his daddy on down to Florida so he can get a base boat, and not just get a base boat, get the truck so that he can put the boat on the truck and drive the boat around. Like, it's so specific. Like, these are actual dreams that you can tell Yelawolf actually has, that motivated his career to get to where he is. And then he follows it like, Lord, I'm a dreamer, I can't pay her, she'll be on the line till daddy can come save her. And you get that interesting line, because I feel like that's kind of talking about maybe the dreams is like he can't pay her, and he can't have the dreams, almost like when you want a girl that you can't afford per se, and it's just like a dream. And then maybe it's also commenting on the types of girls he's dating are the types that will be around until, you know, some kind of daddy can come save her, which might be implying just the all other side that can come from there. So it might be a double entendre for the types of girls he's been with. I know that if you're a poor white boy, you can do some surprising things with broken rich girls. Could have been rich, a star, a ball player, but I got no cares, Opie Taylor. And it just kind of shows like all of the things that you could have been with your life, and you let it kind of waste away in this carefree nature. So perhaps when in his youth, I don't know when he popped, but maybe in his early 20s, and it wasn't necessarily working at first, there was this lack of ambition, and it's like he's looking back, and this general not caring attitude may have defined his whole life. But then he just has that Opie Taylor, but I got no cares, Opie Taylor, in that chorus, and it just cascades out, and it's really freaking dope to me. And you get that second verse where it kind of paints, like, almost like feel like he's a little bit farther on in life. Now he's a grown up and he's moving some products or whatever. And I assume that because he's got a quarter-pound of pot in a shoebox and $5,000 stuffed in a tube sock. Now, I mean, it is totally possible a quarter pound is something that you would have for personal consumption, but not many people I know like to go more than like 2 OZs of the same product before switching that shit up. And $5,000 in a tube sock, so evidently there's some money being up in here. here that isn't necessarily being tracked. Got no fucking credit to use it. Paid cash for my card to use. Lot small town trapped in a sinkhole. Still keeping it cool in the pistol. Me and dopes like green in a pickle. Yeah, folk, like haystack to a sickle. And you're just like, wow, man. So he's in this situation where he's moving dope and he's trapped in this small town and he's just trying to get through, and he's like never really in school and he's getting up in the courts, and he just kind of paints the small town in like this negative situation. He just blows smoke in the air. He's raised by pirates, cursed like a sailor. And then there's a line he says here that really like hit me really hard because of my own personal life. Could probably get a job if I cut my hair. So I've had actual problems at work over the length of my hair. Like you can see my bangs are like down to here. I don't have short hair. And I realized along the way that if I were to like cut my beard off and like clean up my hair, I'd probably make more money. Like I'd probably make like 15-20K more, like a lot sooner, type more money. And it baffles me. And I guess Yelawolf's the kind of free spirit where in his life is he's doing his thing. He just wanted to be him. And, you know, you end up actually having conversations with yourself. Like, yo, if I just like cut my hair or whatever, maybe I could get a job. But at the end of the day, you don't care. You want to be you, Opie Taylor. And he just kind of doubles down on that. And then the outro just has this beautiful musical instrumental flip up. I'm a sucker for it. It's got these da-da-das. You just like Opie, and it just like builds it, and it goes for a good minute or so. And I think that like when done right, these outros are just magnificently beautiful, and it does a bit of a beat flip up to keep you engaged and to keep you hooked. And on that note, I thought it was just stellar. All things considered, this track to me is another 5 on 5. I really enjoyed listening to it, and I mean, it makes sense that these two are singles. They're both like, it's knocked them out the park bangers in my opinion. Anyway, let's move on to the 7th installment in a song series, which you gotta give Yelawolf credit for keeping this alive. It's Box Chevy 7. This is like another one I feel that kind of paints the vibe of who he is, and I feel like this album really is just turning into like this unapologetic statement of, I'm Yelawolf, let me double down on the things that I guess define my culture. And I like how this starts off, like it just, the beat is so smooth. I feel like unlike the other ones, which had more of like an intensity to them, right? This just kicks in and you're like, hey, you just want to vibe. Like I feel like you want to just lay back instantly when this beat kicks in. Something to just point out that is like really worth mentioning is how each of the 3 songs we've heard so far has been drastically different in tone, in the way the beats sound, in like the tempo and feel of them, and the way that Yelawolf hits each of these tracks is absolutely diverse and different. And that's an important thing to make your album actually dope. So I wanted to give Yelawolf all the props in the world for that. Then I like the way he starts the verse. If I see 2 Maybachs, I'ma park in the middle. Throw my keys at the butler, didn't get him. No idea, I'ma walk up through the middle. And it's just funny, right? You can just picture him coming in with his big old car, just sees 2 sleek little things parking up in the middle, like taking up all the space. I feel like it's almost like meant to be like a fuck you and an insult to these other, I guess, fancier types of cars, because he's coming in with his box Chevy, you know? Like, this is that real shit in his mind. He's got a nice paint job on it, and you know, I guess it's really important to have a candy coat. Like, I just didn't know that until Southern rappers taught me about candy coats, because as I like to point out every time we talk about the bouncy cars, because I just picture these cars bouncing. Maybe Chevys don't bounce, but when I picture the South and cars, I just picture bouncing at a certain point, and cars in Canada can't bounce, so I'm always jealous of that. But you get like the tone immediately after, like money in his pocket, but he's not sure how to act right. Glock in the glove box like a flashlight. Cub in the mop top in the back like Zilla Gorilla, he's a killer, that's a night. And you just feel like he's rich now, or he's got some money, he's got a gun ready to go, he's going in like a little bit like he's ready to go off, like this is like a regular thing in his world. He's got a Chevy, he's let it crawl, and he's got his pack ready. I'm gonna make a call, getting your racks ready, and maybe we can talk, y'all. No, we get down, motherfuckers in Nashville, don't get beat up. And then talking shit on the woozy, got crack, lift him on his back, lift his fucking feet up, and then flows into the chorus. So you get the sense here that if you got money, there's some moves that can be made, some situations that can be had, and if anybody wants to fuck around, they're gonna get knocked the fuck out in a kind of a bad situation. And then it flows into that really smooth chorus where it's like, we just bad motherfuckers. bad, and there's like a big pause there. Lets the beat really ride. He says, bad motherfuckers. It kind of just again lets the beat ride for a second, lets it really sink in. And he's not being intense, he's almost soft with it. And then he kind of sings in, some bad motherfuckers better listen to the song, trying to be good, but they want to do wrong. So give me that low kind of tone, ghetto cowboy, stay ready all night long, let him up. And you get the sense that like he's really going on about like how they are that night. They're ready to go. They, you know, I almost picture it like from a perspective of, I guess, a distribution network of folk ready to take care of themselves, maybe living a more tumultuous life than a little on the wrong side of the law, we'll say, and they're just ready to hold their own. And this is just like his story, which I do believe is kind of related to some of the stuff that he's kind of come from. And then I like how he kind of takes this chorus. I hear him gawking when they see me walking to my 1979 box, whatever. And then it's almost kind of sounds like at first people might make fun of the car to the point where, you know, he kind of tells you're jealous, and then he pops that trunk and nails it because, you know, in the back he's got his stuff ready to go. If you think back to that fun track, Pop That Trunk, Pop the Trunk or whatever. And you just get the sense that people like, I don't know, maybe kind of hate, but at the same time this is the car for him and it's ready to go. I just feel like there's a lot of pride in this, and I like the hook a lot. It's kind of fun. And then he does some real responsible stuff with the second verse. If I get drunk, I'ma leave her, pick her up tomorrow. Don't get behind the wheel if I'm picking up a bottle. And I'm like, that's really good. That's very responsible of Yelawolf to continue on, because he did the same thing on Trunk Music too. How he got drunk and took an Uber to Hooters. And here he is not drinking and driving, which is very respectful. I kind of give that up to him. I like how he just kind of flows on the rest of his verse. There's not like a whole lot I have to comment on it. I just think it just flows like him in this southern way. And I don't know, like I had to go back to get it from my papa, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, a recipe for disaster, put the beat up, me and the Chevys like pastors to Jesus, a haystack, I'm that needle, we just bad motherfuckers. And again, to me this verse is again context setting, painting out that picture of who he is. And so far I feel like on this album we have been able to take a look back into a bit of what turned Yelawolf into the guy that he is today. And this is just another track looking at his youth, but also with how his box Chevy fits into the equation. Another ode to his car. I do enjoy this song. I gave it a 4.5 on 5, and a lot of it has to do with the crazy beat flip up at the end of this song again. And so far, each of these tracks has kind of had like a bit of a beat flip up. And this is where he's got the oh get it, but it just like it gets real nice with it. And the way the production kind of adds to the track instead of just being, because sometimes these people just put like Dr. Dre's the worst at this. They'll just let the same beat play for like 90 seconds. Like, feel my beat. It was so good. It doesn't need vocals. This shit, it keeps it alive, it keeps it mixed up, and it makes me enjoy the track more. And so this one is the first non-5, I guess, of songs, but still 4.5, solid jam already in this project. I'm super excited, and I can't even wait to get in there and talk about Here I Am. So this song pulls a bit of a bait and switch on people. It starts off, you got this I'm the dude, and it's like mixed down and whatever, and it's got this kind of calmer vibe. Still, like, I think we've gotten a lot of guitars on this album. It's been a nice, like, kind of smooth beat, and the way he just sets this tone again, like catfish bellies, premium gas, I'm fucking heaving with cash. I spray the ceiling with Louis, get the ceiling in the bath. Oh, you catching feelings, homie, easing on back. Catch smoke from a young band, you're gonna have to breathe in a mask. You know, it's almost like you get, I don't know, I feel like it just kind of keeps on with the similar vibe we've been getting on the project. More of him painting a picture with his words, not necessarily saying anything directly, but using his calmer voice to just really capture an energy of like I would say a negative vibe, like not necessarily like horror or anything, but the way he paints his environment almost comes off horror-esque. You know, like, trap boy, you are in need of an ass whooping because the way you look in me, it makes me helium laugh, and there's like laughing in the background of this. And so you get the sense that this is somebody coming at Yelawolf, and this is a little bit of his like response song. So this is maybe his fuck the haters who came at me track in terms of the vibe. Even a grad student trying to be prudent will get tossed even as trash top of the morning to you. Oh, I'm so different to you, hoping you prayed this morning that you say hallelujah. And I'm like, okay. So basically, regardless of your occupation or whatever, regardless of who you are, if you're coming at Yelawolf and you're talking a little bit of shit in a negative way, I've come to realize this isn't like, let's say, me critiquing his music in a fair, deeper way. It's more like people going, oh, he has tattoos, so he's a devil worshiper. Like that type of shit that he's pissed off at, you know? And given the hallelujah line, I'm assuming he might be talking about certain communities that do, in fact, care about Jesus more than others. And then I kind of like the Malcolm, you in the middle, your algorithm is screwed up. Because Malcolm in the Middle is a great show, let's be real, but it kind of takes a generic name and is like, yo, your whole situation and your perspective is fucked, and part of that is going to be the algorithms of the social medias and the way they twist views and things, which is alluded to with the Mark Zuckerberg, I'm tattooed up line, here I am, again. And I feel like, in a sense, this might be just a kind of a backlash to online criticism about him, and he's had to face throughout his career. And then, you get this chorus, like, here I am, sitting here in my chair, minding my own business. This ain't even fair. What you said, I don't care. I don't want no problems. And it's just still kind of calm. And you're just like, okay. And you picture him just, like, sitting there. Like, people are maybe attacking him or emailing him or messaging him or fucking up his day with just opinions that are maybe unfounded or anything like that. And you really just feel the sadness almost that gets conveyed here as he's contemplating the situation of maybe haters. And I'm assuming it's haters. And then it's like the beat just drops, flips up, this bass comes out of nowhere, the song punches you in the face, and it turns into like that. Like, sometimes I'll listen to some 3-6 Mafias for the energy that's coming from the I'ma whoop this motherfucker's ass, I swear. And you just feel like you're ready to fight and go down. Like, it's almost like he's sitting there, and in the whole first verse, he's like drinking, and then he got drunk, and he is now ready to fucking go. And so the whole second verse is on the hyped up version of this beat with all of the intensity coming in. It's not calm. The song has flipped entirely the tone and attitude, which makes sense as he's saying shit like, you done woke up a sleeping giant, a heap of lines, you done struck your hand on a pot that's still frying. I done been down this road so many times that I could drive it blindfolded, drunk, drop keys and hill climbing. Bitch, when I yellow, uh-oh, Slamerican squad, motherfucker, brother Rucker, uh-oh, salute the lowlifes, you all up on me, gambling that it's no price. Anyway, you just get the sense here that he's still lashing out at these conservative fucking yuppies, but man, here I am. So I'm assuming that there's a lot of criticism he gets that I'm just blissfully unaware of, because I don't come from the Bible Belt. On the other hand, I am actually engaged in working on a musical project with 2 separate dudes in Alabama at the moment, so maybe I should ask them about this type of shit, because I'm pretty ignorant to it. But it feels like he's sitting there making his music, doing his things, and conservative media is coming at him. That's kind of what I take from this track, and this is almost like, I'm being me, I'm doing whatever, and now I'm gonna have to fuck you up lyrically with this super fucking intense track. And I really enjoy it. I really like it. It slams in. Even the here I am, I feel like it's over the intense part of the beat the second time when the chorus comes in. And then you get like a third verse outro thing that's still pretty dope where he's coming in, and I really like when he's near the end of it, he's like, better tighten your lip up. I don't give a damn about none of your crew. I'm about to do what daddy used to do and whip ya. And uh-oh, got a belly full of liquor, uh-oh. So it's like, now he's drunk, he's railed up, he's gonna come for you. And I feel like this track has a seriously fun energy. It kind of follows up the last one real nice. When I listened to it in the Yelawolf audio release thing, because again, it's not really out yet for me on Spotify, it is like significantly louder than the other tracks. So since this is recorded before I can verify that, we can all know together, including myself, in like a half an hour if this is still the case. But for those of you that caught that, the live stream thing he did to release the album, if you also noticed that that particular song was just louder than Still Riding or Bach Chevy 7 in like a very audible and noticeable way. Or maybe it's just the blasting nature of the beat. Either way, 4.5, super fun, calmer, grimy, I don't know, I like it, super intense by the end, great experience. Let's move on to the 6th track on this project, which, spoiler alert, sounds absolutely different than everything we've heard so far. Keeping it up with that habit is Still Riding. So one thing I would have to say about this project so far is I do feel the songs are a little bit short. Like, I would prefer him to throw on more third verses personally, but I suppose this is the current rap trend to simply have two verses in most of your songs. And I don't really think we got a lot of three verse tracks on this album. I'll be completely real with you. I think almost the whole project, except for stuff with the features, is two verses. I might be wrong, but that would be like my main negative point to this album so far. Is I just really like what he does with the three verse story arc songs and his ability. Not to say that it's bad to have two verses, but that would be my only criticism 6 tracks in, is that all of these have been just two verse songs so far. Anyway, so it's still riding. This to me is like the hip hop banger, like the most true to form hip hop song you're gonna get on the album, down to the chorus being something that's more rapped out and not actually sang like almost everything else we've encountered. So I like it, man. The beat just has your head bopping like the second it kicks into me. This beat is scratching on it, like it just kind of feels like you almost wish a little bit more there was more of this on the album. But at the same time, I don't know that I wish that, because I think Yelawolf's versatility and ability to do a lot of stuff is cool. But I'm very happy that this particular track is here to give us that, like, proper hip hop feel. And then he just kind of starts it with, since I left ain't too much changed, yeah, except for the pilot, first class virgin, wanna ride in a purple violet, will stick beside your body. I put a word in, sneak you behind a curtain while I VAP park my bourbon. If the slubs can't pardon, then fuck you. And I'm like, alright. Again, it kind of feels tone setty, but like another, I guess, criticism I could make is a lot of this is just kind of feeling like Yelawolf describing a little bit of the circumstances of his world. I don't know like what level of depth I might want or expect from it. I feel like in some of the more upcoming songs on the project, we'll get that a little bit more. In this case, I do like the feeling of just him kind of blazing in, like, yo, it's almost like White Trash Party from Eminem, and like the vibe we're getting. And then if you don't like the slums, fuck you, we'll take the parking lot and throw 30 rock in a bucket. My folks look like Joe Dirt with that club service LSD trip shit, bitch, is your knees hurting? And it's just like, this grimy, white, trashy feel to it, where it's almost like he's just creating this like banger here for his people to ride through. And I can completely appreciate that. I really might not relate to the lyrics 100%, but like the vibe that he spits them, the overall flow on this track is absolutely ridiculous. Like, I think he raps his fucking ass off here. And he also does his job of, like, communicating the ghetto cowboy-esque feel that he's been trying to do, bumping Pink Floyd and Mayweather, windows down on that gray Monte Carlo, embedded rubber on concretes, leaving trails on the pay leathers. And then just comes on through. Then you get this really cool chorus where he's like, yeah, we went from counting the O's and the SpaghettiOs to counting zeros, but a heavy load to stay so high, but the Chevy's lows. And he just repeats it, and it's got this quick vibe to it. And I think a lot of people can relate to O's as in like not having your money, and SpaghettiOs, but then O's also being weed, like you're counting up your O's, like you're moving up your shit. And then SpaghettiOs, like you're broke as fuck and you're eating the canned food because it costs 69 cents, and what, you gonna starve? I mean, growing up there was a lot of Alphagettis and SpaghettiOs and the dinosaur shaped ones and whatnot. Like a lot of that did come from my background, so when I hear lines like that, I remember it. Like, my family always ate. I never want to put it down like we never had to eat, but there were certainly times where we cut that budget a little closer to budget than not. What I thought was remarkable in terms of just the songwriting is in the chorus at the end with the still riding, stakes are high. He leaves a lot of pauses to let the beat breathe, and really just lets it kind of float so you can kind of suck it in, let the chorus kind of impact you for a second. And then the way he starts the second verse, it's almost like the chorus goes on a little late or the verse comes in a little early or something, but the timing on it's really cool. And then it just kind of drops in like a classic chariot beating these 808s up, up, up. Area 51 pegging is something looking alien. No Christian Dior adorns this native sun. Dripping Dixie since 81. Sipping whiskey since Raekwon spit hit page one. Nerd shit, that gamma ray gun. I like it. Again, it's that unapologetic. Like, he's trying not to be posh with it. He's trying not to be flashy with it. He's that southern dude, I like when he goes a little bit later on in this verse, because I'm a matrix in itself, a true song. Plus I hit the oracle up, red or blue phone. Yeah, make it like a little prophet. I got a knife from a wizard because I state the prophet. And you really get the sense that he's kind of coming to his own. And in this track, as much as it's been a lot of the past that we've been seeing, I think he's trying to remind us that he's also got that swagger. Like, check it, I am a successful rapper. I have pulled this off. I have been talking about my past a little bit on this project, but at this point, I want to let you know that I'm still doing this. Yo, I've been gone for a quick minute. Not that he's actually been gone for a quick minute. This is literally his second album this year, but like maybe he's feeling like he's letting us know he's gone for a quick minute. He's back. He's banging this out. And just reminding us also, in a sense, I can still rap even if I have all this other like fusion stuff. So even in the sense of this album, it's like I've been gone for a quick minute, or still ain't much changed, yeah, but like, well, not a lot's changed. In terms, sorry, I'm getting a little sidetracked here. What I'm trying to convey is, even though the rest of this project might be kind of new and he's wrapped it up, even, you know, the game, however it's flipped up, he's still able to manifest it in this diverse way and come in and kick out the hip-hop thing. I don't really know where I was going with that, so sorry. Sometimes that happens in the middle of these little diatribes I do, and I like to leave them in because I'm human, and honestly, this is just my like natural reaction to this whole experience. Either way, I like the way he kind of rides out the beat in this song. I don't have a lot more to comment on it entirely, except that it's under 3 minutes. It kicks in, the second verse comes through, it just ends. Doesn't do the whole on beat thing. And any of the songs that are 4 minutes up until this point, it's because there's been a good minute of beat thing at the end. But still, I like it a lot. I'm giving this another 4.5. I don't mean to sound like any kind of negative. I'm really enjoying this album experience. I'm getting a little tired, but I'm enjoying it. I think the beats are stellar. I think the way he rides the beats, I think is stellar. Every chorus I've heard so far has been really good. And it definitely got replay value for me at this point. Like, I'm not bored of it. And I listened to every one of these songs 4 times before I started recording this review. Yeah, it was possible with all the things. I just sat there and I did half the album over and over again. You know why? Because it's 25 minutes. And it only took like 2 hours to do that, to do all that re-listening. He put it out, listen to it once, give it another 3 things. It's not actually that long. I'm not trying to be super critical. It's just kind of where we're at with it. Anyway, one more track for this first part of this review that we're going to talk about. The halfway point, well, right before the halfway point of the album, it's lightning. There's a lot of rain in Montreal, so I wonder if there is lightning. If I were to go up to y'all listening to this track and say, I have a question for you guys, and you were to say, sure, what's your question? And I were to say, how many verses do you think are in this song? And you said 2 to me, you would be correct. There are still 2 verses in this track, and I don't mean to be a hater. Right off the jump, I give this a 5 on 5. I love this song, but I love it kind of wishing there was more to it. And that's kind of my feelings now, I think. Like, that would be my main criticism. I wish it was a little longer. It starts off with this little conversation between 2 people where Yelawolf's like, I'm done. I'm getting out of here. I want the storm to go away. I don't want to work. I hate this fucking town. Dude's like, but Bobby needs you. And he's like, fuck Bobby. I'm getting out of here. And then he tells us this very interesting verse where it's a little bit drug dealery. Tommy just got out of jail. Then he repeats it like, get out of jail, out of jail. And it kind of reminds me of that Eminem track where mama had a baby and his hip hopped off, hip hopped off, hip hopped. But like, whereas Eminem was fucking annoying on that song, Yelawolf was actually really cool on this one. 2 months he couldn't make bail. Repeats the couldn't make bail a couple of times. But he's now out. Here we sit, whiskey bent, freestyling over cricket chirps, how he would spit, then I went, loaded gun, death be flirt. And man, you just pictured him in the middle of the night, it's a little bit drunk, just fucking shooting guns and rapping and stuff in the middle of like the Alabama boonies. I don't know if the boonies is the right word for it, but still. Leave it up to the Baptist church, me and him are the scum of the earth. Oof. So if you're in the Bible Belt and maybe you're not playing right by the rules, you guys are degenerate fucktards and get the hell out of here. You're scum. However, the way their attitude is, they feeling like 2 millionaires with $100 net worth. And I love that line because it shows this internal attitude of wealth and prowess and who they are. But then he follows it up and it gets a little more nefarious. Topic of discussion is that they know nothing, as in the people coming at them, maybe the cops who put Tommy in jail, etc., but they didn't find the other 20 pounds hid in the oven, and that leads you to believe they got some stuff ready to distribute, and they're good to go at this point. But then he flips it. Whatever happened to me and you? We used to go to Sunday school, and we worked Monday to Friday, and sometimes Sunday school, a $500 check, and that's no disrespect. And that little part, it's like, here we are, happy about our 20 pounds of product, ready to move and all this shit, conspiring in the nighttime, shooting guns and drinking, and then reflecting on how at another point in life we were just two good kids in Sunday school. Maybe we had these honest jobs and we made pretty good money. But then, nah, I'm a talent. You watch, I'm telling you, we had it all mapped out. Hip hop till we crashed out. I drank till I couldn't walk straight on the porch where we passed out. Nothing but trouble dealing with troubles of our sorrow, and the clouds follow. We was just like, and then it kind of flows into the chorus, and you get the sense that this was the regular world as they were dreaming, right, of trying to figure their way out, almost conceptualizing their rap careers and how they were going to get them way out of the current environment that they were living in, which you can probably picture as working, dead-end situations, illegal stuff, whatever. The chorus is nice. I really like it. Lyrically, it's fine. Just like lightning in a bottle, burning electric blue. Just like gunshots in a hollow, echoing all night through. This is how we shed our problems under the southern moon. And then you're like, up, just like lightning in a bottle. So we get all drunk and get all riled up. And I get it. That's country life. I'm not a country person, but city people do that too. But the second verse is my absolute favorite. Just the flow of it is like, yeah, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I got 2 packs of Parliament lights and a dime bag and a bomber break, and I just lay in the dark on a night on the bed of a buddy's truck who got it from his papa back when he died in a fire rescue, and I never asked what happened. Like, what a really specific verse. Like, you just picture him, and he's got his cigarettes and his little baggie of green, and, you know, his whole situation, and they're lying on a truck, and it's his friend's truck, and, you know, some situation happened, he doesn't know what's up, and they're just listening to movies, and he's got a good buzz going on, and they're shooting out beer cans, and he's dreaming. And even though he goes, some say that dreaming's useless, full of pride and selfishness, escaping that mental prison's like climbing the electric fence. And that's a risk, but a risk I'll take to better with, 'cause through hell I've been. And I love that little notion he's putting forth here, especially because there is a lot of people out there who will specifically try to take your ambition for success and flip it into some selfish notion where they kill your dreams so that you become a pleb for their machine. And it's just messed up. It's just some whackness. And to actually get out of the mental prison, especially religious groups and things like that, where they kind of institutionalize your way of thinking into not ever having ambition for yourself, even though Yelawolf clearly has this within himself. So he breaks out the prison, which feels like climbing an electric fence. It's a painful, arduous process, and he does it all, and he just freaking kills it. And then he flows on, you know, and besides the factory, I can't share my dream with everybody, and besides to the factory I clock in tomorrow, and to the room I wobble, but the vision I follow a storm was brewing. We was just like lightning in a bottle. Then it really flows out. Beautiful outro chorus, beat flip ups, all the good stuff we've come to see so far. But we really kind of picture him having these wild nights, practicing his rap game, doing his thing, coming to work hungover, fucked up a little bit the next day, grinding on through the day, going back, doing it all again, flipping through, almost 8 Mile in it. You know, you picture Eminem in the factory in that movie, and he flips around, goes to the rap battles at night, all with the hope and the dream of getting to this better place. And I guess the purpose of the song is to convey that even if the world trying to keep you down, if you got that lightning inside of you, you gotta let it break out. You gotta be like that person, smash on through, fuck the conceptions and all that. And I found it really uplifting, really in the tone and vibe of stuff I find enjoyable. And ultimately, I think this is one of the better tracks we've heard on the project. Of the non-singles here, this is my first 5 I'm handing out. I love this song. Totally going to be adding it to my Spotify playlist. And I don't know, I couldn't recommend it enough. On that note, this will be the end of the first part of this album review for Yelawolf's Ghetto Cowboy project. Sorry for hitting the mic there. On that note, I look forward to getting to the rest of this album for part 2. It should come out as soon as I can get it done for y'all. But yeah, so subscribe to the channel to keep your eye out for that. Like the video if you did like it, and you can feel free to comment on this review, your thoughts of the Yelawolf album so far, or in general, your thoughts on Yelawolf, your thoughts on a review, anything good like that. If you make that effort to comment, I'll make that effort to answer you. Special thanks to the patrons, Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Linda Williams, and Coney Spires. They're dope. They support what we do, help us get a new camera, help us get on Spotify and all that good stuff, gonna help us get a website, and they get to to tell us what albums to review. So if you want to see us review something in particular and you want to see it happen sooner than later, that is the absolute best way for you to get that done and show support for the channel. I dropped a project myself recently. You can check it out on this channel. Links and all that in the description of this video. So thank y'all for watching. Live long and prosper.